Hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to English TV Live, the English TV Guide here on YouTube. If this is your first time here, English TV Live is your #1 resource for live English lessons. And my name is Lloyd. I'm one of the teachers at English TV Live. We have many teachers, 5 to be exact at the moment, specializing in writing, pronunciation, listening, grammar, vocabulary, whatever it is that you would like to improve in your English. We have a fantastic community at English TV Live. Just go to EnglishTVLive.com to join the community today. Speaking of English TV Live, we also have something very exciting for you today, and that is a new podcast. So we have a few weeks ago, we started a new podcast at English TV Live, hosted by one of our teachers, Mr. Jacob. And this week, we have another new episode, and today's guest is one of our teachers, Terry. Terry is from Ireland. He's our grammar guru, our grammar expert. He can speak, how many languages is it? 5 languages, I think, 6, several languages. He is a linguist. He's not just a teacher, he's a linguist, a language expert. And in this episode, he's going to give you some tips on how to learn any language from the beginning to fluency. So it's just been released right now. It's just dropped. So if you want to be one of the first people to listen to the brand new episode of this podcast, just click in the link in the description of this video and you'll be able to check it out. Otherwise, you can just go to EnglishTVLive.com/podcast or just click on podcast. You'll find it there. The link is in the description. So check it out. All right. Let me see who we've got watching with us right now before we get into it. By the way, today, we're going to look at some expressions and vocabulary that you can use to talk about marriage and weddings. And the reason why I'm teaching you this today is because my sister, my little sister, well, she's not that little, she's getting married tomorrow. So I thought it would be a good time to teach you some expressions related to weddings and marriage. But before we get into that, let's take a look at some of the comments here. All right. Furat says, with Irish accent. Yes, that's correct. Yes. Terry has a very Irish accent because he's from Ireland. Hope Terry is doing well. Yeah, he's been a little bit busy and sick recently. He just moved to Portugal, but I think he's doing okay now. Marilla says, wow, hats off to Terry. Yeah, that's a nice expression. So if you say hats off to somebody, you are congratulating them. You're saying good job. So hats off to somebody is a good expression that you can use to congratulate somebody. I guess in this case, you mean, Terry did an amazing job learning so many languages. So hats off to Terry. That's not an easy thing to do. Sarah says, we missed him, Terry. Marilla says, yeah, I love podcasts. Okay. And hello from Texas, US. Okay. Thank you for your comments. Keep your comments coming, everybody. Let's get into it then. The first expression related to marriage that I want to teach you is this one. To pop the question. Does anybody know what this means? To pop the question? Pop the question? To pop the question means to ask somebody to marry you. Okay? To propose. So to propose, to ask somebody to marry you. Usually what happens? The man gets on to one knee and then he says, my love, will you marry me? And that is popping the question. So a sentence you could use for that is, when are you going to pop the question? Or have you popped the question yet? Something along those lines. Let us know in the comments. Has anybody in the comments here popped the question before? Have you had the question popped in your direction? Hopefully you said yes, but let us know. The next idiom expression related to marriage is to walk down the aisle. Now, just be careful here. Aisle has a silent S. It's not aisle. Aisle. So to walk down the aisle. The aisle is the pathway. Okay. Usually in a church often, but not only there. You could in a cinema, when you're watching the movie in the theater, you have an aisle. So when you're at the wedding, what happens? You're walking down the aisle. And to walk down the aisle simply means to get married. Now, don't forget, when you talk about getting married, don't forget to say get. Get married. not just I was married. I've heard some people say that. If you say I was married, that implies that you're now divorced or something like that. So I got married 5 years ago. I got married last week. That was not my story, but just for example. All right. So to walk down the aisle, and the last one, sorry, not the last one. The next one is to tie the knot. So to tie the knot is another idiom which means to get married. So on a tie, for example, I'll be wearing one tomorrow, you tie a knot. On a rope, you can tie a knot. So I guess the meaning of this is you have two people who want to get married and stay together forever and ever, because a knot is very strong, right? So to tie the knot means to get married. So again, you can say, hey, when are you going to tie the knot? Have you tied the knot yet? Are you thinking of tying the knot? So my sister tomorrow is going to tie the knot. Another one is to, okay, it's disappeared there. The other one I wanted to teach you, which has not appeared, is to get hitched. To get hitched. Let me write that in the chat here for you here. So to get hitched means to get married. To get hitched is another way you can say that, to get hitched. All right, I'm going to teach you some vocabulary in a second, but why don't we take a look at some comments before I do? Risa says, I can say I want to get married. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you want, if you do, I want to get married. Perfect sentence. Mirella says, John decided to make Miranda a surprise to pop the question on his birthday. You can maybe say it a bit more naturally like this. So, John decided to surprise Miranda by popping the question on her birthday. All right? But very nice. Okay. Tammy says, your sister's boyfriend popped the question to her a while ago. Very nice. That is true. Reese says, yes, I have popped the question. Maria, my husband popped the question 20 years ago. Very nice. And how did he pop the question, Maria? Let us know. Sarah says, pop the question. Is it a formal expression? No, it's pretty informal. Pretty informal, yeah. Pop the question. Pretty informal. So, Lolly says, will you marry? Who are you talking to, Lolly? Who, are you talking to me? Are you talking to somebody in the comments? Okay, so there you go. Okay, Fikriye says, I tied the knot 10 years ago. Perfect sentence. Julia, how you doing? Hope all single people tie the knot sooner or later. Sarah says, when are you going to tie the knot, Lloyd? I don't know. I don't know. I need to find something to tie first. Or someone. Madeline says, I got hitched since 2008. You wouldn't say that. When you get hitched, that's one time, that's one event. So you could say, I got hitched in 2008. Just be careful of that. So your wedding day, when you get married, that's one event, that's one time. Your marriage is after that. But getting married is the day. So you get married, you have your wedding day, you get hitched, you walk down the aisle, you tie the knot. These are all one event. So in this case, you'd say, I've been married since 2008. I got hitched in 2008. All right. Let's look at some wedding vocabulary then before we finish. And this is an important difference here. So before you get married, let me just find the correct one. Before you get married, you are a fiancé. And the spelling is a little bit different for men and women, but the pronunciation is the same. So, fiancé from French. You know, we steal a lot of French words in English. So, fiancé. And then, on the wedding day, the woman is the bride. The blushing bride. Okay, the bride. Only on the wedding day, she's the bride. And then after that, forever and ever, or you get the idea, she is the wife. Okay, so all of the time before they get married, she's the fiancé, then she's the bride for one day, and then the wife. And then the man is pretty similar. The man is also the fiancé, but I think it just has one E, but it's not that important. Fiancé, On the wedding day, he is the groom. And then forever and ever after that, maybe he is the husband. Okay, so just be careful with that. I just want you to be clear about the difference. See if you can make any more sentences before we finish. That's about all I really wanted to teach you today. But I'd love to see some of your examples, some of your own stories using some of this vocabulary. So let's take a look here. Victoria says, useful lesson and expressions. I'm very happy to hear that. Roa says, are these expressions used in slang language or is it idiom? Sorry, I just joined the video now. All of these expressions are commonly used and not particularly formal. Get hitched, tie the knot, walk down the aisle. They're all commonly used. They're fairly informal, but very commonly used. Marilla says, it's too early for Lloyd to tie the knot. Very nice, Marilla. I like your thinking. I'm still single. I haven't popped the question yet. Okay. Or you haven't had the pop. I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but usually the woman has the question popped. Someone pops the question to her. But good luck to you. Lolly Lolly says, I haven't tied the knot yet. Maria, okay, so Maria, I asked Maria, how did your husband pop the question? He popped the question under a tree. Very nice, very nice. Sarah says, my sister's wedding will be next year. She'll be a beautiful bride. Lovely. And I'll try and share some pictures from my sister's wedding tomorrow as well. Maybe on Facebook and Instagram. Not Facebook, probably. If you'd like to see. Thank you, Lloyd. I love your live lessons. They're so useful. Very happy to hear that. Very happy to hear that. Batchia says, fiancé is pure French, isn't it? Yes. As I said, in English, we steal a lot of French words. We do steal a lot of French words. I will admit that. I don't think the French steal many of our words, though. It doesn't go both ways. All right, everybody. By the way, if you are inside the private community today, we'll have a lesson from Emma. Pronunciation with Emma. That's going to be at 3:30 p.m. GMT. And also, before that, coming up pretty soon, we're going to have an Instagram live on our page, which is English TV Live. And Jacob is going to be inviting people onto camera. That's going to be happening in about 40 minutes from now, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's right. So it's going to be at 2 p.m. GMT. Gets confusing, all these different time zones and everything. Anyway, so make sure you check out Jacob's live show on Instagram coming up in about 40 minutes. If you're in the private community, check Emma's show at 3:30 p.m. GMT. If you're not a member, you can join at EnglishTVLive.com. We have a new podcast for you as well, which is totally free for you to listen to and download, and also an awesome article with that as well, which is in the link of the description, in the description of this video. But that is about it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these expressions and this vocabulary related to marriage and weddings was useful. And yeah, let me know in the comments below if you're watching on the replay when you popped the question or when you got hitched. Would you like to get hitched? Have you tied the knot, etc. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time on Monday. Today's Friday. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.